back. Currently, it is a nice, bright, sunny afternoon, perfectly warm weather, and an excellent oeuvre in order for us to get some geometry done. We're going to be working right now in Family 3, which is all about segments and segment addition. Remember, segments we learned about in the prior topic, segments being two endpoints connected with everything in between. So, first things first, zoom in a little bit here, get ourselves all set up. What we are told, so that you understand going forward, there is a difference between WX and WX. This is the name and this is the length. So as you go through, reading geometry is just as important as the vocab, as important as everything else. So knowing which is going to be really important. So what they're doing here, when they say WX equals 15, they mean that this entire length is 15. And then they tell you that WY from here to here is 31, and you're supposed to find XY. That is what segment addition does. You're taking a small segment plus a small segment and then linking it up to make a bigger segment. That's what all of this is about. So what we're going to be doing for this is 31 minus 15. So of course the length of xy equals 16, and we're done. Next one, over here we're told xy, so from here to here is 17. And then we're told xz from here to here is 32. And take note, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm going through this, label everything. I'm going to put that in capital letters. Whenever you are dealing with anything in geometry that gives you a diagram, you want to label everything, 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 everything. Have I repeated it until it's funny yet? Everything. So over here it's going to be 17 plus something equals 32. So minus 17 minus 17, x equals 15. So y, z equals 15 units, whatever those units are. Now that's pretty light fare for now, so let's actually tick it up again and give us some bigger, or smaller in this case, examples. So we're going to zoom in a little bit so we can read this a little bit better. So what do we have here? Now we have a new vocab word, midpoint. You might have heard this word before. Midpoint basically means the middle of something. I assume that much is kind of obvious since you have mid and mid. That's one of your English prefixes. Ms. Leavenworth will have to tell me. So if we're told that B is the midpoint of AC, B is the midpoint of AC. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put little tick marks on my diagram, since again I am labeling everything so that I remember that, oh, those are the same measure. And then what am I told? BC is 7. Okay, from here to here is 7. Well, since this is congruent, that means it is the same measure, which means this is 7. And then what are we told? We are told BD from here to here is 10. All right, so if this is 10 and this is 7, what is CD going to be? It is going to be 3. Once I have all of my little smalls here, I am all set. I am ready to find AD, which is 7 plus 3, which is 17, and that's going to be my answer. Next up, what do they tell us? Let's see here. R is the midpoint of QS. So midpoint and midpoint. The tick marks label that they are the same. We are told RT is 14 and RS is 8. Since this is 8, this is 8. Since this is 14 and that's 8, 14 minus 8, this is going to be 6. I have all my smalls. What am I looking for? QT. QT is going to be 8 plus 8 plus 6, which is 22, and that will be my answer, okay? Now we can zoom out a little bit and look at what our next ones are. Okay, so distance now is something else that deals with segments. Distance being how many units over are you when you are counting on the number line, and obviously the distance here is going to be 9. Over here, the distance, we're going to be counting how many jumps over you make on the number line, and here your distance is going to be 7. So what happens then if they don't give you, or at least they give you a number line, but they don't label it exactly as neatly as that? Here we go. So let's see here. We want to find two things. We want to find ST, and again, there's no segment on top of it, so this is the measure, and we want to find TR. So ST is from here to here. If they're on the same side of the zero, you're going to be subtracting. So what is 19.4 minus 7? That is going to be 12.4. Next, we want to find TR. TR, when you have your numbers on opposite sides of the zero, then you're going to be adding. So what is 17.3 plus 19.3? That's going to be 36.7. Next one over here, let me shimmy to the side a little bit. So we have TS that we're looking for and RS. So TS, that is same side of the number line, so we're going to be adding them because they're on opposite sides of the zero. So 3.5 plus 3 is 6.5. And then what are we looking for? RS. RS, these are on the same side of the zero, so that's going to be subtraction. 17 minus 3 is going to be 14.5. Okay, so far so good. And since distance, it's worth mentioning, because I know somebody somewhere here in the YouTube space is going to say, but miss, shouldn't that be negative? Think of it this way. In your car, when you're driving, do you ever drive a negative distance? Not really. Do you ever drive a negative distance? Exactly. Distance is always going to be positive. All right. Now let's step it up a little bit more. Here, they don't even give us a number line. We're just sort of expected to either doodle it out on our own or try to figure out what we're looking for. So let's see here. We know there are points on the number line. We know that W and X, however long that is a distance of 4, and that X lies at 16. X lies at 16, right there. Okay, so where could W be located? Now, where could, that's your key phrase. That means there are two options. You have two options, not that Mr. Block can write. You have two options specifically because it's a question of, are you looking on the left or are you looking on the right? Which way do you go? If I go to the left, my location is going to be 16 minus 4, which is 12. If I go to the right, it will be 16 plus 4, which is 20. So those are our two possible options. If we do it again, we're told that A, this is going to be point A, and it lies at negative 12. All right, and then AB could be, it has a length of 8, or it could go this way, so AB has a length of 8. So if I start at negative 12 and I go 12 to the left, where do I stop? Negative 20. Okay, so far so good. If I go 8 to the right, where do I stop? That's subtraction, negative 4. Those are our two options for our points. That's what you're looking to do for this one. Let's see here. Next one, find the location of B, which is the midpoint. Midpoint again means middle of AC. So how far is AC? AC is 8 units. So we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. Our location is going to be 5. And then we do it again. If I'm looking over here, we have a distance of 14, negative 4 to 10. Yeah, our total distance here is 14, which means we need to go half of that. So 14, we want to go half of that. So we're traveling 7 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Our only option is going to be 3. All right, and now we're going to take it even further, and we're going to reduce the number line again. Let's see here. Y is the midpoint of XZ. So what's the distance from here to here? They're on opposite sides, so we're adding them. So it's a distance of 13. Okay, if it's a distance of 13 and I go 13 this way, where do I stop? 16, and that's going to be our answer. Over here, same thing. I got to look at the distance here first. They're on opposite sides of the 0, which means that we're adding. So this is a distance of 15. And then Y is the midpoint of XZ, so it's going to be going 15 this way. So 12 and 15 are going in the same direction, so that's addition. So that's going to be negative 27. That's how you're doing this out. And now we're going to abstract it a little bit further. We started with the number line, and then we took out some of the numbers, and, oh, no, midpoints. Okay, this one, we have a formula for this one. We have 2 points, right? Well, what happens when you take the average of your 2 points? So average meaning you add them all up and then divide by how many there are. That's how you're going to be finding midpoint. So if I'm looking at this, there's x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to lump our x's together, so 8 plus 2 divided by 2. And then we're going to lump our y's together, negative 7 plus 7 over 2. What do we get? 8 and 2 is 10 over 2. That's going to be 0 over 2. So our coordinate is 5, 0. That's going to be our coordinate, 5, 0. That's our midpoint, and that's what they're looking for. Over here, what do we have? We have x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to lump our x's together, negative 1 plus negative 5 over 2. And then we're going to lump our y's together, negative 2 plus negative 8 all over 2. And now we simplify, so that's going to be negative 6 over 2, negative 10 over 2. So that answer is going to be negative 3, negative 5. Negative 3, negative 5. And that visually looks about right, so we know that we did something pretty good. And now, what else is there? We still got a lot to cover. This one. Right here, I am a low-key fan of this one. This is a DSA question. Everybody looks at this and says, Miss W.T. Schnitzel, what am I doing here? But this is the easiest thing in the world. Watch what happens. What is my jump in my x's from negative 1 to negative 3? I went down 2, right? If I go down 2 again, what do I have? Negative 5. Ooh, okay. Now what's my jump for my y's? I go from negative 2 to negative 5. That's a jump of 3. So I'm going to go down 3 again. Where do I stop? Negative 8. And seriously, that's kind of how easy it is. Everyone's brains short circuits when they see this, and they think it's harder than it actually is. Let's see here. This one over here. So I'm jumping from 5 to negative 1. That means I went down 6. So if I go down 6 again, what do I get? Negative 7. All right? And then for my y's, I went from 8 to 5. I went down 3. So if I go down 3 again, where do I stop? 2. And there's my coordinate. And I think that's the last one. Yes, it is. So ladies and gentlemen, that is everything you need to know about segments and segment addition. I'm going to let you know, based on the notes we were taking, this one is a DSA question, this one is a DSA question, and one of the number line ones, I forget which one, is a DSA question. You want to keep an eye out for those. Make sure you definitely get those done. As always, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.